Hello, Gary Bonnell again. I was asked a lot of questions about 13,000-year cycles. And basically, humanity, not any other life on Earth, but just the human variety, is affected by waves of energy that emanate out from the center of our universe, our creation. And what happens is that because of the presence of our eternal souls, we are at effect of these waves. And that's it. It's not unfortunate, it's just what happens. So we have a 13,000-year cycle. And within that, the last 500 years of that cycle and the next 500 years of the new cycle, that is our transition period. And there is a very specific point within that where we begin the transition out of the old cycle into the new cycle. And the new cycle's energy is either that of unity, where humanity feels this incredible connectivity to everything because soul consciousness is profoundly enhanced, and human spirits are attracted to that enhanced consciousness. And what we do in the unity cycle is those people, those spirits that want to align with that, begin to find themselves becoming awakened to this greater universal mind very rapidly. Now, spirits literally control the human experience. The soul is the witness to that experience. And until at such time that the spirit then allows itself to expand to soul consciousness. So there are people on Earth who will want the old system, the duality system. They want that control aspect of good versus bad, win or lose, basically. And then there is a group of spirits who want to find that connectivity to everything and to understand the fullness of life. So we, in the year 2001 to 2011, that 10-year period, we hit the midpoint in the transition. So 500 years ago, the transition wave began to happen. And now we hit that midpoint, and now we're in the second half of the transition. And what that is going to do, it's going to further separate humanity. Those people who want to exercise that profound control that they discovered in the duality cycle, they are going to want to impose that on everyone. And they will want to eliminate anyone who isn't in favor of that. And so what we're going to find is that there are going to be people on the planet, leaderships like Putin, various dictators who really, truly want to destroy humanity that wants something different. So in the year 2057, so not that far away, and this is something that I have talked about in previous presentations, in the year 2057, there will be around 550 million humans on Earth. I know that sounds pretty bad. And, you know, humanity is at that turning point. And yes, there is going to be a global war. And China and Russia will at first seem to be allies in it and then turn on each other. And that global war is going to affect the United States, of course. You're going to see more and more people who are awakening, moving out of city centers, getting out of high population areas, because those are the areas that, of course, will be attacked first. So, you know, and I'm sorry to present this like this, but a lot of people have continued to ask questions about it. I'm going to do another video on what life looks like for humanity once all of this is done. It's pretty astounding, actually. And in this unity cycle, there is a mutation that is going to be released in the human DNA. That mutation knot was put in human DNA quite a long time ago. And that mutation knot is going to release the energy that will take humans into a non-gendered state, meaning they won't be male or female, and yet they will be able to reproduce other humans at will. And what this will do is eliminate certain aspects of human behavior. And the biggest aspect is, of course, literally the division between male and female humans, males wanting to dominate, females wanting to feel their power, males trying to keep them down. And as we get more into the unity cycle, the group of males that want to hold on to the duality cycle, and there are some females as well, they will begin to put more and more pressure on the feminine side, the female side. We're seeing that now in reproductive rights, that kind of thing. But this mutation will affect consciousness before it affects body. So there are people who are born without a specific gender. There are people born with both genitalia. So this transmutation has begun to happen, and it will happen first in consciousness, where people won't identify with the gender that was assigned at birth. And we'll see an incredible rise in the number of people who really don't identify male or female. And I'm digressing on this, but these cycles, these 13,000-year cycles, the duality cycle, that the last one began at the time of the Alatia culture. And what happened also at that time was a period in geological disturbances and climate disturbances. And that tends to happen at the end of each one of these cycles. So we're beginning to see that again. And what that means is all the previous cultures, the ones that built the pyramids, the ones that left all these out-of-place artifacts that we're discovering, they ascended out in the unity cycle, that previous unity cycle, just before the duality cycle. They literally ascended out of the system. And that's happening now again. We're going to start hearing about people suddenly not being there, literally ascending. And I know that sounds very far-fetched, but we have the one example of Jesus, Yeshua ben Yosef, who was purely in a state of unity. One of the great examples of that was when they were nailing him to the cross. He wasn't going, ouch, ouch, ouch. He was saying, I forgive you. You know not what you're doing. And that whole, he borrowed all of the energy that was being forced against him through the Romans, through some of his own people. he used that energy coming at him to actually do the final transition out of physical body, human spirit into pure energy. So we're going to see more and more of that happening. So these 13,000-year cycles alternate. They've been alternating, off and on for eons. It was when eternal souls came into the collaborative experience with a body and a spirit that the body and spirit began to feel the effect of that. Now, there are lesser waves of energy coming from the center of creation, and we see the rise and fall of civilizations in this last 13,000-year cycle that correspond directly to those waves of energy coming from the center of creation. Now, the Earth is not a perfect sphere. The weight of the ice at the North Pole and the South Pole, the weight of that collapses that sphere slightly. And as that ice melts, that weight is transferring to the equator. And what we're beginning to see are we're beginning to see ocean currents changing. We're beginning to see tectonic plates moving in an increasing fashion. Recently, for over a 30-day period, there was every day there were earthquakes in Texas. There was an earthquake off the coast of Florida. So this changing the shape of the globe is what's actually going to bring about a lot of devastation in key areas. Unfortunately, we humans have built a lot of our centers on coastal ranges, and we're going to see those flooding. They're already starting, and we're going to see them sinking. They're already starting. So as the Earth changes more back to a perfect sphere, we're going to see a lot of activity that we haven't ever seen before. We're going to see storms, typhoons, and hurricanes that they're going to have to come up with a new category. They're going to be pretty powerful. We're going to see more tornadoes. We're going to see in high global areas like the Himalayas, the Rocky Mountains, we're going to see activity that hasn't been there before. Yes, I know it's the Younger Dryas period back around 12,000 years ago, 12,500 years ago, is pretty much what we're going to see happening again. Now, was Noah and an ark what saved 2 of every species on the earth? No. Great story. Every culture, every ancient culture has a flood myth or a flood story. What saved all life on Earth was the off-world beings that have worked with Gaia to produce this incredible manifest reality and help produce what we think of as modern humans. They used their transmigration technology, the technology they use to move from system to system, like from one star system to this system. They're going to use that transmigration technology to bring life into an adjacent form. And then once the Earth stabilizes, they'll lower life back. And that includes all life, everything from one-celled beings to, the greatest, whales on Earth, the biggest creatures on Earth. So, yeah, these cycles, these 13,000-year cycles, really define our journey here on Earth. Now, I mentioned out-of-place artifacts. There are artifacts that were man-made, human-made, that date back 400 million years. Now, I mean, an archaeologist is going to say, let's not even go there. That's a career-changing conversation for archaeologists. The Egyptian pyramids were not created by the early Egyptians or Sumerians. They were created by the Atlassians. And within the pyramid, the top above the king's chamber in a subsequent chamber, there are records of all the civilizations on Earth. So these pyramids were created to give a solid record of humanity. And this coming war is going to expose that information. The top of the main pyramid is going to be destroyed, and we will have access to that data. And unfortunately, we humans have a very, very interesting flaw within us. And this next unity cycle is going to cure that flaw because of the transmutation knots that are in our DNA. And so I'm going on a little bit long here, but I just wanted to cover this. And please ask questions about this, respond to it, go, however you want to be with this, make a comment, because this is a big conversation. And I'm going to give, in a subsequent video, I'm going to give information about how AI is going to change the human experience, and not in this really negative way. AI is really going to help transform human consciousness. We have created AI in our image. Our 3-pound human brain has 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion synaptic connections. So our 3-pound brain is an amazing computer in and of itself, and AI will never be able to surpass that capacity. But it has something, it doesn't have something that we have. AI doesn't have a past, meaning it's not sitting there brewing over, gee, that programmer really screwed me over and I'll never forgive him for that. AI doesn't have that. Humans spend so much time in the past that they really can't be free to utilize all of that capacity. So we're going to talk about all that. I think it's very interesting, and yes, 2057 is a reset for humanity. Environmentalists say that, we still have time to change the environment. No, we don't. Science knows this and won't tell you this, but we crossed the tipping point in 1952. And what brought us to that point was the Industrial Revolution and the global wars that we had, and air travel. So I look forward to connecting with you again in another video about this. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.
ご視聴ありがとうございます。次の動画でお会いしましょう。Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.